The Vengeful Spirit is one of the longest running mysteries in FNAF, their origin stemming all the way back to the MCI, or perhaps even before. But there's a problem. Nobody can agree on who the Vengeful Spirit is. FNAF Mysteries with TDreads and Andrew is in the games. Hello everybody, my name is TDreads and welcome back to FNAF Mysteries with TDreads and Andrew is in the games. Today we are here with RyeToast. Why don't you introduce yourself?
It's a pleasure to be here over on FNAF Mysteries with T-Dreads and Andrews in the games. My name is RyeToast.
I don't appreciate those air quotes.
My name is RyeToast. I do FNAF theories and a whole bunch of other stuff, but mainly, talk about FNAF and slightly disagree on things in a nice way.
Yeah. That's the name of the game. All right, so what we are here to do today is kind of go over, kind of in order of like normie FNAF fan to I never go outside, some Vengeful Spirit questions, right? So we'll start with a basic kind of intro overview question, more like a statement from us both, which is just kind of the origins of the Vengeful Spirit, which for those uninitiated, the name Vengeful Spirit is actually never in any of the games. It comes from, I believe, the casting on voices.com that Scott Cawthon put out for UCN. In the games, it is known as the one you shouldn't have killed, and is only ever addressed with male pronouns, which is interesting, giving some of the theories on the Vengeful Spirit, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
So what we'll start out with after that is going over who we think are the three most likely candidates in order of most likely to least likely, and why to be the Vengeful Spirit. So I'll let you go ahead and talk for a while on that one. I would say first give your least likely out of three. I wonder who it's gonna be.
Well, it's not who you think it is, I will say. Unless I think so. If I can read your mind correctly. Because I will say, you say 3, which is, I think, an interesting number to debate upon.
Yeah.
Because when I think, my brain immediately goes to 2. And if not 2, then it kind of gets bigger than 3. So if I were to narrow, so what 3, let me ask you, what 3 names were you thinking of when you said that?
I am thinking of Andrew, David Murray / David Afton, and Cassidy.
I see. Okay. Then I'll say 4, because I was thinking of a different third name.
Okay.
Granted, the different third name is my least likely answer.
Don't say Michael.
I was gonna say the fourth, my least likely answer is Michael Afton.
Okay.
And I really think that just comes from a matter of, if you're just taking solely the games themselves, stopping after Ultimate Custom Night, I think there is a case to be made for Michael Afton. I don't think it's a very strong one, but I think it is, like, it's narratively there, it's all right, but I just personally think, there are other things to take into consideration, especially once you start adding books or even parallels of books, games past then. I think Michael Afton gets less and less likely. My next least likely Vengeful Spirit, I think I am going to say anyone within the Crying Child, David Murray, like anyone within that bubble, I think is similarly least likely. And for me, it's a matter of a lack of vengefulness, for lack of a better term. I think they, while, obviously they've been wronged in their lives, it's an age thing. I think they are, whoever you think that would be at this point in the timeline, I think that character is too young, I guess, or too killed at too early of a point to be this vengeful, angry spirit. It's the same reason why in Secret of the Mimic, I don't think that the Mimic is actively being possessed by David Murray, because it just seems more aggressive than I would put on a 5 or 6 year old who maybe got killed in a car accident, and then we go to the 2 more likely candidates for me, which are in order of least to more. My personal take would be Andrew, then Cassidy. I think if either of these characters do exist in the games, either of them have a very strong case for being the Vengeful Spirit. If we're taking the Fazbear Frights books as literal things that happen in the games, then I think it kind of has to be Andrew, because that is Man in Room 1280. Like that, that's what that is telling us, is that like pretty much directly. So it's a matter of, are they happening literally in the games? I don't think the case is there to make that strong of an argument, or rather even like these are similar things. I think I would want to personally see more game-based or game-focused information of an Andrew-like character. But I totally see that argument. And then for my reasoning of Cassidy being the most likely, frankly, the only thing there is with the security logbook in tow, which tells us more information about the games, and that one slip once. Now again, it was changed. But the one slip of Cassidy being the princess from Princess Quest, meaning that name is at least in talks at the team. It's very loose evidence,
and the kazoo,
but it's at least something. And the kazoo, it's one of the, and again, every time this happens, Scott is very quick to be like, "Oh, take that down." So the reason is like, okay, this is where the pure speculation comes in. Of is that gives away too much, or is that's wrong? Please stop saying that's right. We don't know, frankly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for me, it's just introducing the Fazbear Frights to the canon. The canon gets quite messy. And if that were to happen, I think the fact that Andrew comes with the canonicy of the Fazbear Frights, that is where I hesitate. I think that would be my thoughts on it.
All right. I say least likely. I will do, I'll also do Michael.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna put Andrew at 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So the thing is,
spicy take for FNAF Mysteries with TDreads and Andrew's the Vengeful Spirit. A spicy take.
Don't tell anyone, but it's a joke. I don't actually.
Yeah. No. I gotta figure it.
Okay. No. So I get the best argument right now. I think for that is kind of just the fact that Edwin is in the games and fills a similar role to what he does. But then you kind of have to branch out and say, like, okay, is Hudson in the games? Well, no. Is there, like, does Cleathrophobia happen in the games? Does Haps happen in the game? You know what I mean? So,
Kelsey Trap, classic Kelsey Trap.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So to me, I really think that we can't assume a character is in the game universe now until the games tell us they are. Because, I really just don't think Hudson is the FNAF 3 guard at this point.
Yeah.
I think it's, much more likely, because that doesn't line up with the events of the book at all, just like the events of the Mimic story don't line up with Secret of the Mimic. So, for that reason, I only put Andrew in 3rd, because I'm not convinced he even exists in the games at this point.
Fair.
2nd, I actually will put the Crying Child or David Murray. First of all, this is gonna sound so stupid, but bro is rocking a bowl cut, which is a bit
thinking of the image of the Vengeful Spirit. No, that's fair.
Bit similar to David Murray's hairstyle, and you can't really comment on the Crying Child's in the 8-bit minigame, but in the one canon drawing we have of him in like some guidebook or whatever, his hair is very similar in pigment and shape. Also, this is a debate as to whether or not what is going on with my webcam? Okay. I don't know what that was.
Good morning.
Let me zoom out.
I think I know what webcam you have because of what just happened.
Yeah, it's pretty chopped.
It's a good webcam.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty high quality. Okay, anyway, back to what I was saying. I think it's because my hand. I'm going to put it down here. All right. I would say because of the pronouns that are used to refer to it. Now, I know that people often debate whether or not that's talking about Golden Freddy. It could be. It's also odd because, like, I'm pretty sure Withered Chica goes in the vents, and then she's the one that says, "I have seen him, the one you shouldn't have killed," and that's the kid's face appears in the vents. It can, not Golden Freddy's face.
Good point,
so there's interesting ways to interpret that. I'm fine with it being just referring to Golden Freddy in general. It's interesting though, and then you also have it mimics the mediocre melodies. It speaks through the mediocres, mimicking the mediocre's voices, speaking through them with its voice layered under, which is very similar to the way that the Mimic speaks in Secret of the Mimic. It'll have the primary voice box of the character, and then under that you'll be able to hear a little bit of like David's voice or some other voice. It very often kind of layers the voices in Secret of the Mimic. So that's one thing I noticed that was interesting there. Unwithered Truth, I think, is a big believer of that right now. So are a few other people. They're kind of converting to Bite Victim, the one you shouldn't have killed. Also, depending on how competent of a writer you think Scott is, if he can write a character that's like 2 dimensions, where like Cassidy is nice to the bite victim and mean to, you know, William Afton. Because in Fazbear Frights, Andrew's just kind of not a very nice. Yeah,
he's just kind of prickly.
Yeah, he's just not a great, you know, not a very nice kid. I still would put Cassidy at my number 1 though. Like you said, the name is clearly relevant to the lore. I think it is very, very obvious that the vengeful spirit is Golden Freddy. I don't think you have that all that imagery in there for no reason. I pointed myself to locker 14. I think it works well, especially. But then there's that other thing. It's implied the vengeful spirit is going to be probably like a boy in the movie, but it's also the Golden Freddy kid.
True.
You know what I mean? It's so strange.
Yeah, there is that one weirdness too about like people have been sharing online about the drawing of the Golden Freddy child is like different in different scenes and things like that. Like there's something weird going on with that too, which I think might even, you know, similar to how the FNAF 1 movie kind of gives us more credence to believe that possibly FNAF 1 takes place after the place is closed down, so on and so forth. Maybe that something like that is going to give us like a little nudge in the right direction for Golden Freddy. And you know, you bring up, I completely forgot to bring up, as far as Cassie's name relevance, the whole screenplay thing, where Scott himself was like, oh yes, the Cassidy screenplay. This one was for the lore heads, so clearly it's an important name to something. Character. I totally forgot about that.
So did I. Don't worry, until you just mentioned it. I've been so Secret of the Mimic brained since that game came out.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been, was it October, and I'm still like, so it's been 4 months, and we're still digging through that game. It's a dense game. It is
a dense game. On the note of what we were just talking about, we can actually move on to, do we think Scott has done anything since the release of Ultimate Custom Night to help point us to who this is? I would actually say yes, 2 things. One of which we probably misunderstood. The easier one, I think he is trying to tell us that it's the Golden Freddy kid, based on what we see in the movie. Particularly the novelization, the whole last paragraph, the novelization is like, the boy wanted William Afton's suffering to go on forever, perhaps longer. To me, that's like, hey, that's what happens.
I know that.
Yeah.
No, that night sounds ultimate and customized just for William.
Some sort of ultimate customized night.
Burr, Invincible logo appears.
Yeah. So that's the one thing.
I completely forgot about the novelization of that.
Yeah. Oh, it's weird. It's weird. Bonnie and Chica.
I remember what they did to Doug
in that too. In that continuity, Bonnie's a girl and Chica's the boy. It's very strange. Anyway, what was I gonna say? And
then the other one,
Andrew. The Fazbear Frights epilogues came out after UCN. So clearly that was supposed to inform us. I think we were wrong about, or you know, some of us were wrong about the way we took it. So now people have been asking themselves, okay, is Andrew a bite victim parallel or is Andrew a Cassidy parallel? Right?
Interesting. Yeah, because there is the whole shadow victim relations with how Andrew works and functions as a spirit.
It goes all over everything. Yeah,
it kind of needs to be gathered, and that's something that, you know, gets repeated a lot throughout the franchise. And then, you know, if something is broken apart, it needs to be gathered to be dealt with.
And then Andrew's the one that can't see, and then in the logbook you have I can't see. So now we have to figure out, okay, but see, the thing is, I can't imagine the demeanor of bite victim being the same as Andrew. I just can't.
No, not at all.
Can't imagine.
I mean,
that's why
let's be real. If the bite victim survived maybe 5 more years, we'd get Andrew.
Yeah.
Right. But like at his age, at everything he was going through, there's no way that he's this sobbing, crying mess. And then, you know, 10 minutes after the minigame ends, he stands up and starts like cursing people out. Like that's not what's gonna happen.
Yeah. It feels.
That's part of the reason why I don't believe in CC Runaway. And I understand, I get the argument there, but I also just like, is he breaking is he breaking a window? Like, is he gonna break out of a window? I don't see it.
Yeah. And then as more subtle imagery, if you think that Dreadbear as a character is representative of the bite victim, you have that death screen in Curse of Dreadbear where it's Dreadbear's hand over the glitchy purple grave and all the graves, so he's kind of got them in the palm of his hand. So those are the bite victim weird Andrew imagery parallels. Does Andrew have, I'm blanking, does Andrew have any parallels to Cassidy? Because we don't even know anything about Cassidy.
No, that's the thing. We have such a
Yeah.
lack of information with Cassidy. I was thinking about it the other day, and I don't remember if this is in a video that's coming out or has come out or whatever, but I was thinking about it the other day that it's interesting that not necessarily the characters, because we know very little about the characters, but the things that are going on post FNAF 6 Fire link up almost perfectly with Andrew and Jake. And the idea that, like, if we look at what Andrew and Jake are doing, there's Andrew, who is before room 1280 doing Ultimate Custom Night, and we see Jake at the end of the epilogues going into the ball pit and helping as many people as he can on the way down. If you, like me, believe that FNAF World is taking place alongside Ultimate Custom Night, we kind of have a similar situation here, where Ultimate Custom Night, William is being held in like an agony torture forever, and at the same time, if FNAF World is taking place, it's kind of this like weird fake purgatory created to help people move on. So it's in this, like, the fact that I was really thinking about it, that like we don't really know much about the game characters of Charlotte or Cassidy, but their actions, if they are behind these two things, do mirror Jake and Andrew's actions in these stories throughout different points of it, which are really interesting.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, kind of going into memories to give people happiest day or something. Yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah, because that's kind of like Jake, like as the dust settles, you know, everything is over, he uses the rest of his body to change people's memories to make them feel better. And we have post FNAF 6 where everyone is like presumably burnt and passing away, and Charlotte then using whatever she has left to like reach out to these MCI victims, doing happiest day, doing FNAF World, depending on when you think those things happen.
I haven't seen the FNAF World UCN theory, but that could also explain why, if it's after the FNAF 6 fire, why the MCI kids are able to show up in happiest day.
Yeah.
If they're all collected in FNAF World or whatever.
My big link for it is that not only the Old Man Consequences connection between the two games, but in Ultimate Custom Night, Marionette has the line, "I'm not afraid of you, but you need to stay out of my way." What is Marionette doing?
You know,
so that's kind of where I lean
you're
into
a
that.
Smart fella.
Oh, thanks. I'm also a fart smeller, depending on the day.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, well, we can move into.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was gonna say we'll move into some more of our intermediate questions, right?
Sure.
So kind of now we're at like 1300 power level. You know, we're about to get to 14 million power at the end. But
of course.
yeah, we'll start. So why do so many fans assume the Vengeful Spirit is Golden Freddy? Because this may sound like a dumb question, except when you remember that half the fan base probably still thinks it's not Golden Freddy. So, to me, I think the inclusion of the Red Bear sprite being the one talked to in the OMC ending to leave the demon to his demons, I think the final cutscene of the game being Golden Freddy going off into the distance looking restless. We have a cutscene series called Bear of Vengeance, right? Those three to me feel like the biggest ones. Also the fact that Golden Freddy, we've always known from FNAF 1, was a special character because of the way they just acted so different. And if they are the Vengeful Spirit or had a more agonizing death, that provides an explanation for why they are so different, right? I don't think you need to create a new character when you already have like Golden Freddy, a character who's already mysterious that you can kind of put to fill that role. Could you think of any reason why Golden Freddy would not be the Vengeful Spirit?
Yes, but I do want to start with I agree with you. Because everything you just said, I'm like, yes, 100% I agree. That's why I think it is Golden Freddy.
Same, yeah.
When I was trying to make an argument against it, I took the one you should not have killed being a title that is being said by the Vengeful Spirit, separating these into two characters. The reason being is that then makes it much more of an argument for if it is not Golden Freddy. This kind of leans into the Michael Afton arguments, which I do think are fairly debunked at this point. But the idea of like, for example, if it say were Michael Afton, and we are then talking about the one you should not have killed, who is this? If this is for the crying child, then that moment is less, the ending cutscene is less, here's you and me forever twitching off into eternity. It's, even if you do everything you can to try to beat this, this is the one you should not have killed, and you will remember that.
Yeah. And even, I didn't say, even narratively, right? Let's say Golden Freddy, and you got to remember Golden Freddy's power system as well, which is in some way it can change reality. It can change posters.
It can change reality.
Wall,
it can take over your mind.
Yep. When you set all the animatronics to their hardest difficulty in all FNAF games, it's called Golden Freddy mode. When all the animatronics are angry, implying a connection between Golden Freddy and Max Aggression Custom Nights. So when you set all the animatronics to their max level, you get Golden Freddy fetting away because he's responsible. So that is why I am not based in Andrew Pilled. I'm sorry, Chet. I'm just not.
I mean, even in the books and in the movies, you get direct examples of Golden Freddy kind of leading them, being cut it out. Like even in the Silver Eyes, which is a completely different canon, essentially, you have Golden Freddy as Michael being like, "Hey, everyone, chill. We got him."
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, we can take a step back from direct questions and hop into the actual dialogue that is given regarding the Vengeful Spirit, for which I will have to open Google. So TDreads from the future, cut this out. All right, so first we're going to go over the other characters talking about one you shouldn't have killed. Apparently the first one, according to genius.com's transcript.
I don't know why it's so consistent that every FNAF quote is on genius.com, the lyrics website. I don't know why.
They're straight bars. Okay.
Apparently.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one is actually Chica, who says, "Greetings from the fire and the one you should not have killed." Now, depending on how deep you want to get into theorist mode, you could be like, "Oh, what, a fire? Oh my gosh, it's a Fall Fest. Oh, it's David Murray." But it also could be just because Chica's on fire.
Yeah, no, there's 100% that. If I remember correctly, and I'm Googling to double check here, I remember there was a weird thing about the canonicity of the Halloween edition of FNAF 4, which I think is interesting here.
Yes.
But I don't remember which characters were and were not canon. I remember it was specified. Do you, on the top of your head, do?
It was only Nightmare Balloon Boy.
Which is so interesting when we have Chica, of all people, being the one to say this line.
Greetings from the fire and from
a character who technically doesn't exist.
Greetings from the fire and from the one you should not have killed.
So it's interesting that this kind of a line, which is important since it's mentioning the one you should not have killed, is given to a character who Scott himself had said doesn't exist.
Their other line that might be important is, "I am a burning reminder of your misdeeds," which if you want to kind of assume that William actually killed Fiona in Fall Fest, if you want to assume that he set that on fire, a burning reminder of what he did. Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yes. So
no, I do like that.
Greetings from the fire and the one you shouldn't have killed. Now, if we had text in the game of Secret of the Mimic that said David Murray was at Fall Fest, I'd be like, "Oh my, wait," that would be actual evidence. But yeah, it's just odd because I don't think. I think
we know he didn't die at Fall Fest, which
Yeah. If anything, Greetings from the Fire might be even referring just to FNAF 6. Like, oh yeah, you're in a fire right now while this is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it could be FNAF 6 is there in the fire. It could be, like you mentioned, Chica is literally on fire. I mean, you could even argue Phantom Chica connections, where Chica, the whole building of FNAF 3 was burned, and in that, Phantom Chica has burn marks on her. So
yeah, all good points. All good points. All right, next up, this one's interesting because this is a real character now. Mangle, right?
Right.
Mangle says he's here and always watching, the one you shouldn't have killed. Now, a couple things. Firstly, and I think this goes understated, the sprite for Mangle in the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 Save Them minigame is also called He's Here.
Oh, I didn't actually know that.
Yeah. And in that
That's
Save
really
Them minigame, Who should be teleporting around but Golden Freddy?
Fair. I mean, also, isn't Save Them Mangle's the only animatronic moving around besides the player?
That is correct. Now, the other interpretation of that Mangle sprite being named that is if you think the DCI just happened or something else. The sprite is called He's Here because William Afton, the purple guy, was there going around stabbing people. But for
Mangle
whatever reason,
being sort of like the attack dog of like bark, 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 over here.
Yeah. But for whatever reason, or I think it might be called like He Was Here or something. But something
like that. Yeah.
Same
Close
type
enough.
of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. As far as Mangle's other voice lines, let's see if they could relate at all to this. The only thing is kind of I get to play Take Apart and Put Back Together, but that's kind of just like what Mangle does.
That's
anyway.
That's
I don't think it's a Bite Victim reference.
Mangle being threatening.
yeah. So that one's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think we can really dig deeper into that one because it's kind of a one-off. He's here and always watching. Well, all it really tells us is that it is a kind of like literally like a domain expansion from the.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's complete control.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like being the puppet master, pulling the strings, things like that.
Yeah.
Which, and then because it also leans into, we wouldn't want to, because like you mentioned, He's Here being William Afton in the FNAF 2 minigame. We're not here to say, because, it's comma, the one you should not have killed.
Yeah.
Not like alongside or something like that. Otherwise, because you could make the argument that some of them are talking about William Afton, but not in this instance.
Yeah. It would also be a weird thing to tell William Afton that he himself is there after killing him.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Let's go and see if I can find the next one. I believe there's one more. Yes.
I know there's at least one more.
Oh, there's two more. There's two more. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
I know of Chica.
Okay.
Or Withered Chica.
Yes, Withered Chica, after being in the vents. I have seen him, the one you shouldn't have killed. Obviously, as I said, like 10 minutes ago or so, Withered Chica is crawling through the vents, where you also have a chance to spot the face of the vengeful spirit. So the fact that Withered Chica... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, go on.
I was going to say, the fact that Withered Chica refers to it as kind of like a male child is interesting.
I also think it's worthwhile to mention the other voice line of I was the first, I've seen everything. Are we to assume I have seen him means the one you should not have killed? Or I have seen him just being, either dead or alive. I saw the victim who turned into the one you should not have killed.
I think the latter is a much cleverer interpretation because I was the first. I have seen everything that's panned out. And then it's the same language. I have seen everything. I have seen him. Right?
Yeah.
So
and it even works if this is David Murray.
Yeah, because
Chica was around that time. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, depending if like Cassidy was going to the first Freddy's location. I mean, they all were.
Sure. Yeah, they all were. Yeah.
I was the first.
The idea of like the MCI kids knew the Golden Freddy victim as well.
That's true. Yeah, I was the first still trips me up because I have no idea what that's referring to. Yeah. For the first...
It's like, is Susie the first victim, or is it just that Chica predates Freddy's? Like, what are we talking about here?
We found that out in Secret of the Mimics. There's a bit more evidence for that now.
Yeah. But like, was that even always the plan? Because I know there was always and I think it stemmed from this voice line, the theories of like, was Chica a third party that was bought on after the fact at some point?
Yes.
A lot of people thought that at the time Henry was like heading us the Mediocre Melodies group, and Chica was the headliner. They merged, they formed Freddy's, and then like now we see that kind of happened, but with Murray's. No, it's interesting.
All right, this is actually the one that gives us the most information. Nightmare Freddy gives us a couple pieces of information. So it's I am remade, but not by you, by the one you should not have killed. This tells us a couple things, okay? The first one is that the vengeful spirit knows that William Afton is responsible for the construction of Nightmare animatronics. The second one, you can take one of two ways, okay? Either the vengeful spirit must have seen the Nightmare animatronics, or the vengeful spirit has the ability to kind of go into people's like minds and kind of see things from inside their head. So if the Vengeful Spirit was kind of just like mind attacking William Afton, they would be able to see that he constructed these experiments and performed them on kids. I'm curious, what do you think the answer to that is?
I think it's closer to the latter, and that's because of the Eleanor and Detective Larson fight at the end of the epilogues. Because in there, you know, he's kind of taken out of commission for most of that fight because Eleanor agonies him or whatever, the, you know, never specifies how it works, but kind of throws him into this barrage of her memories mixed with some of his memories, and it's this weird like memory purgatory he has to break out of to be useful in the fight again. So it seems like both Remnant and Agony can affect someone's memory, and I think that's linked in the grander idea that keeps showing up in FNAF, where like what is a spirit but like memories manifested. Whereas Remnant is shown to be able to go into someone's mind, find positive memories, make them bigger and more important, and make someone happier for it. We see Eleanor doing the opposite. We're using agony. It's not never said like, I'm using my agony attack. Like, we don't know how she does it, but this being of mostly agony can throw Larson into this weird memory chamber he has to break out of.
Yeah.
So my interpretation for Ultimate Custom Night has always been it's a combination of the Vengeful Spirit and William Afton's memories melding.
Okay. Now we can move on to the mediocre melodies lines. All right, let me go to the top here. The first one, we'll do Nedd Bears. This is how it feels. And you get to experience it over and over and over again forever. I will never let you leave. So to me, the most important line out of all that is this is how it feels, which I think can be interpreted as the Vengeful Spirit knows how it feels to sit there helplessly and be jump scared over and over and over again. That is one way to interpret that. That is one way, which would imply that it is someone who experienced the experiments. Oh, say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, kind of a bar, frankly.
Experience the experiments.
It kind of is. No, I think that's a fair point, because I had previously taken it as, you know, just death / being spring locked. But to your credit, he has felt that. He knows what that feels like. He got spring locked. So it being more of a helplessness thing of, you know, just you're stuck here, you're gonna get killed over and over and over again. Linking that to the FNAF 4 experiments, I think that's a pretty great point. I can't immediately think of a counterpoint to that.
All right, let's go, chat. Make sure to leave in the comments.
We got one. Hey,
Team
plus
Cassidy,
one.
Team Cassidy or Team David? Comment what you are. And if you comment Team Andrew, you're banned. All right.
Easy. If you comment Team Michael, I'm coming to your house.
I'm already in your walls. Right. You know, me when I see a mysterious TDreads shaped bulge on the wall in the drywall.
hey, where'd all the Andrew evidence go? Me with 17 books in my throat.
Okay. Okay, next. We've only just begun. I will never let you leave. I will never let you rest. Holy nothing burger.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yapping over here.
Yeah.
Anything.
You think you're so edgy. Oh my goodness. Okay, see that one, yeah, not much. I can get.
Yeah, I mean it links up with the ending cutscene, but so do all of them. So
yeah, it just kind of serves to inform you of what is happening, right? If you didn't read Vengeful Spirit like source code, that kind of just gives you basic context of what they're doing. So
exactly.
Yeah, so I still think it was a necessary line. He tried to release you. He tried to release us. But I won't let that happen. I will keep you here. I will hold you here, no matter how many times they burn us. So this implies that the Vengeful Spirit has been present for both burnings, no matter how many times they burn us. So, hey, we have been burned before. We have been burned again. This to me is actually more evidence for the Golden Freddy kids case, because I think it's possible that after Follow Me, that little 5th ghost kid that scares him into the suit, I think it's possible right then and there it latches onto him. Because I think chronologically after that point in time, we do not see the Golden Freddy suit.
It depends on what you think the Freddy in FNAF 3 is, the one that appears to the left side of your office.
I think it's Shadow Freddy.
Because it's like yeah, I think so too. It's got that weird like greenish blackish tint that makes it impossible to tell what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's Shadow Freddy, but I have heard interpretations that that's the Golden Freddy. But it doesn't attack you, so I don't know. It doesn't really line up with there. I think you're right to say that, because the only time we would see anything Golden Freddy related after that would be, you know, recreations of it. So FNAF World, FNAF AR, things like that.
I agree.
Of course, I guess that's if you believe Follow Me takes place after FNAF 1, which I do.
Okay, I can see.
Because some people believe Follow Me takes place before FNAF 1.
I feel like after makes a lot more sense, because
I agree.
They're possessed in FNAF 1. They're coming for you. So
yeah. Possessed FNAF 1, they're coming for you. And you know, if it's before FNAF 1, they would have been broken up for parts in FNAF 2, remade, broken down in Follow Me, and then remade for FNAF 1. Which that's a lot.
They're having a rough time of it. Those poor animatronics. Oh,
yeah. No, I think that's fair. I like the interpretation of I believe Stormister's theory of between FNAF 3 and FNAF 6, when he kind of becomes that Scrap Trap variant. The reason he does that is to go and modify the Springtrap suit to be less affected by Balloon Boy lures and things like this. And in doing that, or like just repairing after the FNAF 3 fire, whatever your reasoning needs to be, in doing that, seeks out the Golden Freddy suit, takes pieces of it, attaches it to himself, and in doing that, unwittingly attaches the Vengeful Spirit to himself.
That's a good idea.
And that's why the snout and the feet look different in FNAF 6.
I remember. I saw that. That's pretty old.
Yeah.
That's like a couple years old now, that theory.
Yeah, so it's a theory that I heard. I'm like, I still really like this theory. You know, that still comes back to, no matter how many times they burned us, the puppet randomly shows up at FNAF 3. The puppet's just there. Yeah. So there's who's to say Golden Freddy ain't there too, regardless of if it's attached to William at that point or not.
I like how the puppet can just like go outside and like float across. I'm imagining it like hitting like a crosswalk button and it's like slowly drifting by. I've
been saying one of the biggest missed opportunities in this franchise, because similar Ennard, there's a period of time where Ennard's just wandering the streets.
Yeah.
Where is our like cryptid style game where you're a kid in a neighborhood just trying to get home with a flashlight and Ennard is in the bushes around you? It could be
like Stranger Things kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like where is that? That's, you know, there's so many times in this franchise where these animatronics are roaming and it's never addressed.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to our advanced 14 million power super theorist questions.
I'm locking in.
One more for the Andrew Nears. I know you guys are.
I'm pulling out my most lore important book yet.
In the
my Ticket to Fun guide.
Ticket to Fun, yeah. Anyway, so let's expand a little bit on how we think we should interpret Andrew, because Edwin fills a fairly similar role in the books and games. So we got to figure out if Andrew does too, and if not, what he is meant to tell us. First and foremost, oh my God, is he boring? Second, let's see. So, we know one of the most important parts of Andrew is his dynamic with another character, Jake. It is pretty much all we see of him aside from the man in room 1280, which is kind of just him torturing another person from inside like their own head. Now, the story mentions, man in room 1280, that there are two consciousnesses fighting for dominance within William Afton, which to me has always felt like it would be unnecessarily convoluted to have that be the vengeful spirit in the games. Because we know for a fact there are more than two consciousnesses in Afton. There are at least three, because Charlie's there, right?
Yeah.
So this has led people to say things like, okay, UCN starts in the fire, they're all there, And then Charlie and Cassidy both fuck off, and then William Afton gets wheeled to a hospital, and Andrew's just still on him until then he leaves eventually. Which, I feel like you might as well just do it all at one time. Plus, then you have to explain how his body gets back to where Burn Trap would be. So, does he get wheeled out into a hospital, exploded, reassembled by the Force, and then wheeled back? Like, it's funky.
That was my biggest problem with Man in Room 1280 happening in the games was the in-between of FNAF 6 and Security Breach. And I will say, rightfully flamed on Twitter for it, because I was like, how would anybody find this body? And I got quote tweeted, and it was just essentially FNAF tuber forgets that like emergency response teams exist. But my whole thing was, in Man in Room 1280, his body is fused to that, like, in Man in Room 1280, his body is by itself. It's like this just translucent skin flesh bag that does not make any sense. And both in FNAF 6 and in Security Breach, the 2 times we see William Afton, his body is fused to the animatronic. So if Man in Room 1280 happens as we see it in the books, not only does he have to come out of there and then either a new body is put on this suit or he's put back in there, but they would have had to gotten this body out of the Springtrap suit.
Yeah,
I don't know how they do that.
That would be pretty tough. That would be pretty difficult.
That's where I get hung up on, is if Man in Room 1280 happens as we know it, either they forgot the detail that there's also an animatronic here, or they like scraped him out at the site and pulled him out.
because that should be welded. That would be welded. To
that's why I like they're one in the same body at that point.
Yeah. You get the comment about like how like Burn Trap like grew his arm back or something. For one, could just be replaced. Secondly, there is a giant scooper underneath the pizzaplex. If you think that's Vanny's, or if you think that Remnant actually has healing properties, not just like sustaining properties, then that could help to heal that corpse.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to explain that. Like you said, Remnant there. It could be someone else's. You know, if the Mimic itself, the whole thing about the Mimic is that it can repair itself with other pieces. Whether or not Burn Trap and the Mimic are related, there's at least this idea of taking different pieces to put back together. There's plenty of bodies at the pizzaplex to use.
That's true. Definitely plenty. We know all those people are going. Oh, that's another reason. All those kids, we don't know why they're going missing yet. It could be kind of a remnant farm to heal Afton. I could see that being a possibility.
Yeah, I like. I think she's always nervous at the remnant plex theory, where it's
the whole thing is
the whole thing is run by and just being siphoned off by Vanny, which like it's a little far fetched, but it kind of makes it tracks with the information we have. You know.
Definitely. Okay, in that case, let's move on really quickly before our final 2 questions. To talking about Andrew in regards to his relationship with Jake and kind of his role in the epilogues. So Andrew, we know, has gotten his agony and kind of infected various objects, such as Fetch, some other things. This, to me, fits very well with what we know about kind of the Bite victim's death. That's why it's interesting. Because even though I feel like he's a Cassidy parallel, the actual way he functions, infecting other objects and not being able to see in the suit that he's sharing with somebody, those are very Bite victim isms. So in my Golden Freddy theory, I actually propose that they are that's intentionally done. It's Scott just reversing the roles of the nice spirit and the bad spirit. I would be interested though, because Jake, right? We know that Cassidy also in the games, I think you've mentioned this earlier, is kind of acting as a bit of a guiding spirit for Bite Victim because of the logbook, right?
Yeah.
Which Jake is also doing for Andrew.
The logbook, and I mean the whole themes of before his death, his one anchor is his Fredbear. You know, whether or not you think that's his imaginary friend, a spirit, William, whatever that is, there's so much artwork around this is the thing that's anchoring me.
Yeah. And I think that what we have to do, not here today because we won't be able to, but as a community, I think we should delve back into this, and I think Andrew is basically fucking dead to me. I do not think that dude is in the games. I think his purpose is to tell us that the vengeful spirit is either Bite Victim, or Cassidy. And at some
Okay.
point, I'm going to go look over all those epilogues again and try to figure out which one he's supposed to be. Because I am so sure he's supposed to be a parallel to one of them.
Yeah.
I am just having trouble with which one that is. So if you guys have any ideas, make sure you let us know.
I had one idea and it got thrown out by the week before, as much as I love that story. Because I had this really solid theory that I loved about It's Me being the crying child trying to reach out to somebody before the Golden Freddy accidentally kills them.
Yeah.
And then the week before shows us that pretty much every ghost in this franchise says It's Me. So now I have no idea.
Yeah, but then you can ask, like, oh, is that because Golden Freddy's influence is over everything?
Fair.
Yeah, so
It's possible.
this series is chapped. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, our last couple questions here, because I've been holding you for a little bit. We'll go over first one. What is the most convincing thing to disprove each candidate? I'll let you start with Michael, because I know you'd love to.
Yeah, I mean,
go off.
Most convincing thing to disprove Michael is everything about Michael that we've learned in the books and the games after.
God. On God.
Like, would you want it alphabetically or chronologically? Like,
you can do chronologically. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think most convincing thing to disprove Crying Child or David Murray, I think, is just they don't have the guts. They don't have the chutzpah. I don't see them being it. It just everything about their characterization puts them both as these small, helpless victims, these perfect victims that I don't see the turn. I don't see the agony involved in the turn either. Whereas you can argue there's a lot of evidence for Cassidy and Andrew being Springlock victims. Now we're talking.
True. Yeah, that would give him a reason to motive.
Yeah, I mean, because even with Andrew, if you think the whole hair description in Man in Room 1280, that hair is similarly described in, I'm forgetting the name of the story, but the one where it's the
New
two boy, the
New kid.
Yes, the new kid. I almost said, the one with the new kid in it. But in that we get the description of hair in the Golden Freddy suit. Hey, there was this one story. They found something. It was these guys that found something.
Yeah. He was in his flesh.
Something about it. There was this ball pit and they went into it. I don't remember, dude. But then Andrew, the biggest argument against Andrew, the separation of books and games, I think, and a lack of any evidence of Andrew existing in the games.
Absolutely.
And similarly, though, the biggest argument against Cassidy is the lack of any tangible evidence in the games of Cassidy existing.
Searching for Cassidy.
Yeah, like there's this constant theme I always saw in the books versus games debates of like, there's no in-game evidence of Andrew, and it's like neither of Cassidy.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Our best evidence of Cassidy is a book and a Scott Reddit post
and a kazoo.
And a kazoo, yeah. So I think the lack of evidence on all fronts, frankly.
Yeah. So I'll turn that around and I'll give what I think is the best evidence for each candidate.
Okay.
For Michael Afton.
All right, go start with Michael.
The thing is, he doesn't even die.
he's probably Glamrock Freddy, right? That's like
I mean, there's a world. There's a world. I don't think so. There's a world though where that's the case.
I like the theory. I don't think it's right, but I like it.
Yeah. Speaking of Glamrock Freddy, if you want to know who we think he is, you should watch the first episode of FNAF Mysteries with TDreads because we talk about that. Oh yeah. I've got some ideas on what's going on with him. But that's for last episode. We already did that one.
But go check it. It's
Guys,
on the channel page.
Everyone, 90% click-through rate. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say for Crying Child and David Murray. First of all, that line we read from, I think it was not Happy Frog, Nedd Bear, right? This is how it feels. We know that the Crying Child and David Murray both lived in a weird FNAF 4 looking room. If the Crying Child was an experiment victim, which it's still possible he was an experiment victim because he's crying all the time, maybe if that's not just from bullying, he's traumatized, who knows. So if he was an experiment victim, that fits really well with him. Also, you got the whole, kid's got a bowl cut. Golden Freddy kid in the movie has a similar kind of design to David Murray and Crying Child's hair in the games, and they actually exist. That's the thing. They actually have appearances.
Yeah, it's a real character.
It's a real character that we actually see. Best.
There's multiple ways to take that line too, because if they're getting killed by bites, that's the most famous thing about this character.
Yeah.
Like half the cast is like, I bit you in the forehead or something.
Yeah,
so even that doubles down with that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best evidence for Cassidy, I would say, is actually probably just that it doesn't really fit with a lot of other people. So like you said, character-wise, for Bite Victim or David, I just don't see it at all. They do not seem the type. And even though we don't really have a personality outline for Cassidy, we do know there's something in Golden Freddy that seems to be responsible for the triggering of max aggression and all the animatronics, right? For like FNAF 2, Golden Freddy mode, yada, yada, yada. Same with, it's even in sister locations custom night, where Golden Freddy is not even there. There's a Golden Freddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, I would say, is the best evidence for Cassidy. It's just kind of the Golden Freddy imagery and just the profile not really fitting any other shoe, as well as the fact that Cassidy is an important name, as given by the script. Best evidence for Andrew is just that he's the vengeful spirit in the books. There is nothing. That's all you have. There's nothing else. That is the only piece of evidence.
Which it's a great piece of evidence that's not in the games.
Yeah. All right. For our last question, we'll go over.
All right.
What would it take? And we're going to leave Michael out of this because it's just not happening. But
yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's funny to bring him up, but
what piece of evidence would you need to convince you of each kid being the vengeful spirit? So Dave, Cassidy, Andrew. Try to do like the most minimal, not like Andrew walks on stream and says, "That's right, I was in the games the whole time." Like, not that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's also something that would have to come out now, I assume. Not like something that would have already existed.
Something new.
Or anything.
Something new, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, something that could come out now. The smallest thing that could convince me.
Yes.
I think for Crying Child / David Murray, I would want, I guess, literally anything to show agony related to those characters. Anything related to show that. So either, frankly, if we get any evidence that William killed David, besides just the hearsay that we currently have, because then at least there's something there, or I would need something to show me they've got the chutzpah, because I don't think they have it right now. For Cassidy, I think for Cassidy and Andrew, I'm similar for both of them, where any sign that they actually exist. Yeah. A name said so. I've said before, like, if just the name Andrew appears, not even important, not even like Andrew being like, I'm the vengeful spirit, but just like a mask with like on the back of it just has a signed like Andrew or something like that. Like literally anything like that, I'm on board with whoever that name is. And to be fair, kind of the same goes with Crying Child, Dave Murray, but we already know them, so that's less important here. I think both Cassidy and Andrew are equally set up to be this important character without any information about them. Yeah. So any information about them, I think, would help me double down there.
Gotcha. I think, let's see. For Five Nights at Freddy's Abyss, there is a immense likelihood we will be spending a good portion of that game in the sister location bunker. Yes. I think it is possible, right, that we get more information on the FNAF 4 experiments, especially when the last game has ended in a FNAF 4 recreation room, right? The last game, Secret of the Mimic, ends in FNAF 4 house looking place. We're going to be in sister location bunker, where we know there's some weird underground testing room things. Perfect time to expand on that. Perfect time for it. If we get a indication of a specific child, like a record or a experiment log or something, right? Yeah. Hidden lore source code type of code in the wall comes out. Whoever's name is on that experiment sheet, that's the vengeful spirit for me. Horrible possibility. Don't say. My current timeline. No. Well, my current timeline, I think that is most likely is after the death of the crying child, Michael Afton is put in those chambers. And the only reason I think that is because how similar
I think the FNAF 4 night gameplay is Michael Afton's actual nightmares post FNAF 1.
Yes.
And I think they're influenced by his time in the chamber. Yeah, the call.
Yeah.
I think they're influenced by the time in the chamber. And then, you know, the funny thing is that you get to say, this is why Michael Afton is really good at surviving FNAF scenarios and nothing else, because he was in those chambers for who knows how long. But, you know, if that's possible, there is a horrible possibility that that's the name on the log.
Listen, but it's so weird you say that, because if I saw that log and I saw Michael Afton's name, I wouldn't think he was Vengeful Spirit. But if I saw David Afton, I would think he was Vengeful Spirit.
I'm kind of in the same camp.
Yeah, it might be, but like just seeing one of those names, like this child was tortured over and over and over and over again. If it's Mike, I'm like, he'll just shrug it off.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he kind of does. Yeah. And we know where his part of the story is.
That's true.
We have these names, we have these characters, we don't have a place for
He's very melancholic. He's not, his dialogue isn't like, fuck you, I'm gonna beat your ass, I'm gonna come beat you up.
That's the outtake for the FNAF 5 monologue. Father, it's me, Michael, go fuck yourself.
That's actually why Leon Riskin did the reprise of Demolition Inevitable. It's gonna dun 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 dun, fuck you, father.
We gotta redo this. Yeah. Frankly, I think Michael Afton is more likely to be Old Man Consequences than he is to be the Vengeful Spirit.
That's true. Have you heard the OMC?
And I don't even know if I fully believe in that, but like, if he's got to be anywhere.
Yeah, OMC Edwin is making the rounds right now.
Yeah, I mean, with Edwin being in the games, I totally see it.
Yeah. Well, luckily we're probably gonna get a Princess Quest 5, because he also made a new thing for that. So I mean, we'll get more context on OMC in that probably. But as far as today goes, we have run out of epic Vengeful Spirit questions. So I'm going to let you go. Chat, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to RyeToast if you aren't already, and check out the previous episode right here about me and Unwithered Truth solving some glam rock Freddy FNAF mysteries with TDreads, and Andrew is in the fucking games. If you would like this epic t-shirt designed by Barberdroid,
it's good.
It is pretty good.
Barberdroid makes good art.
They do. You can find it in the top link of the description. That's all for today, and have a great night.